go.
Nice. What's up, everybody? How are you? The second most important thing in Denver this week is the gather step. And I just want to give a shout out to the Colorado State Rams, Tom's alumni, for having a great showing with that win in the March Madness bracket. Now, Tom, did you catch that game?
I actually did not watch, no, but I always used to like to watch when they're in the March Madness. They got in this year.
Yeah. And they won the first game, and then they lost the second game to Maryland. And it was a little bit of controversy by some people with the question of, is it
That was
traveling?
that was the travel one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
hmm
Oh, there
you know,
was a travel debate. It looks like they only lost by 1 point.
yeah. And it was one of those games where you want CSU to win, of course, but nobody lost the game. Maryland won the game. So I think the Rams were down by two with like 7 seconds left, and dude pulls up and just nails the three. Bam, Rams are up by one. Inbound pass, 3.5 seconds left. Big man catches it at the top of the key, goes left, gather step, two steps, and then banks it, a high bank to
Mm.
win the game with the clock running out. So, some people were saying, and this is just a broad, critique of the gather step in general, saying that it's making it too easy. When I saw it, I did not look like traveling. Personally, I'm in fan of the gather step. I think a lot more. I get a little bit more picky with the pivot foot that seems to be floating all around these days.
Mm.
You know, but I don't know. Troy, what do you think? It look like traveling to you?
I'd have to watch the clip again, but what I do know is I hate to see tight games in the final seconds decided by fouls, decided by the whistle. So it's like, even if it was, I mean, if it's close enough to the point where we're debating whether or not it should have been a travel, in my opinion, in those final moments, critical moments of the game, just don't blow the whistle. Just let it play out. And I don't know, in my opinion, unless it's so blatant to the point where it's everyone's on the same page that this needs to be called a foul, then do it. But I've seen so many games that literally the refs had 100% control of the outcome just by calling a foul, whether it's like a loose ball foul or a shooting foul or whatever it is. I feel like I just like to see the athletes play it out in the last couple seconds in the game, whether sometimes it gets a little more physical or fouls do happen. I mean, fouls happen on every possession almost all the time, but I prefer less ref um, influence when possible.
I totally agree. It's like a guy makes a killer shot. It's like, what are we talking about here? Where he picked
hmm
the ball up? Come on, man. With a great shot like that, you got, because that's just what college basketball is all about.
hmm
Is the last second shot. And the fact that they had two of them was great. So
hmm
I think the Rams can hold their head up high. It's like, man, they made the shots, everything went in. Just sometimes, guys would make a great basketball play, and like, there you go.
hmm
You know,
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is close though. It's close travel there.
it's close. There's an argument to be made, especially when you slow it down. In real time, I didn't see it at all, but in slow motion, you're like, ooh, that's three
The thing,
steps.
Yeah, the
the
ball's
th-
back in his hand, and he's got 3 steps after that. So, mm,
the
Yeah.
thing is like you could probably rewind through a dozen plays in that game and find some sort of foul that happened if you watch on the replay that wasn't called or was called that could have gone either way. So it's like,
yeah.
you know, it is what it is. It's like like when coaches like sometimes in press conferences when there's a controversial call at the end of the game, they'll be like, I mean, that was not why we lost. Like there was a million things that happened before that also lost us the game. So I don't know. That's usually how I look at it.
Totally. Well, the bracket continues. The first most
Continues.
important thing in Denver is the Nuggets are in chaos, but we're going to give Coach Malone a break. They're winning games, they're losing games. Jokic is on the bench. Who knows? I think it's a great play by Coach Malone to sit Jokic and really kind of get this team to work. It's like, hey man, you can't just rely on big man to go out there, score 40 points, get 20 rebounds and 20 assists. Let's get some energy. So, we're winning games, we're losing games, but the playoffs are almost here, and that's when it starts to count anyway. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Troy, what do you got on the hot takes this week for sports?
Yeah, that kind of leads into it perfectly. I also why is Jokic sitting? Is it rest? Is he hurt? What's going on with that? It's like
Yeah.
every night in the NBA, it'll be like a random star sitting just for rest. It's just
Yeah. I personally think they're resting him, but I mean, he's a machine, dude. He doesn't need a rest. I
yeah.
think that Coach Malone is just like, dude, what is this team? Like, can you guys please make something happen? Just try and get extra production out of guys. And, Jamal's definitely stepping up, but like Porter's bricking all over the place.
hmm
Aaron Gordon was out again last night for who knows why. I don't know, man. It's been a roller coaster season.
It leads into my first hot take, which is the NBA Western Conference is slumping right now. Besides OKC at the top, who's like 9-1 in their last 10 games, it's pretty much the 2 through the 7 seeds. Like I think it's a game apart, it's neck and neck. Like you said, the Nuggets I think they've only won 3 or 4 games in their last 10. Lakers have lost 3 in a row. Warriors just lost Curry to an tailbone injury. So that 2 through 7 seeds wide open. And now like Jokic is sitting out randomly on nights. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there as we come down to the wire in the last few weeks of the NBA season here.
So it could be the second seed, could be the fifth.
Yeah, like you literally don't know. That being said, LeBron is back. He was out for almost a month, I think, with the groin injury. They did lose on his return, but it kind of plays into the theme. Like the West is totally open right now. LeBron's old, injured, coming back. Lakers are slumping. Luka's getting a bunch of technicals. I don't know. Things are just there's nobody feels like it's that they're going to go out and take it right now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Celtics and the Knicks look like absolute world beaters.
Mm-hmm.
The East is
Except
looking tough.
Tatum just hurt his ankle last night.
That's right. He rolled his foot. There.
He landed on someone's foot, like tweaked his ankle.
Dang.
But we will see what happens there. Also, March Madness, this year's tournament is lacking upsets. It's been primarily favorites winning almost every game. And half of the remaining 32 men's team come from the most powerful, teams, powerful conferences. So it's been interesting to see. Much less upsets this year. So there's an article in the bio if anyone wants to look into that and check it out.
Are they speculating that's like an NIL thing? Or are we starting to just see dream teams like emerge where whoever's got the most cash to pay the best guys? I mean, that's kind of how it's always been.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's been happening though. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, but people are loving it. They have an $8 billion media rights deal with CBS. So, unpredictability is what makes people love March Madness, and it's been mostly chalk this year. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, that's it for sports takes.
Nice, man. Thanks, Troy. Tom, where are we riding this week?
We are riding spring slush everywhere. It looks like there's not going to be any snow this week, but last week we got a foot in a lot of mountains, and we have some projected closing dates. Some of these, actually most of these announced by the official resort profiles here. We have, obviously you have A Basin staying open as long as possible. We're going to not count them from the list, but also on that is Winter Park Mary Jane staying open as long as possible, conditions permitting. And then you got Aspen Highlands, Beaver Creek, Silverton, April 13th, Aspen Mountain, Snowmass, Steamboat, Vale, and Eldora, April 20th. Then you have Aspen Buttermilk, Crested Butte, Monarch, Powderhorn, Telluride, Wolf Creek, all of those western mountains, and Keystone, April 6th. So that is coming up soon. And then officially did not ruin my little nephew's spring break because Copper, Loveland, Breckenridge until May 11th.
Ooh.
Put in the stake in at the farthest announced closing dates so far. Purgatory, daily through April 13th, weekends through April 27th. And then Winter Park, main side, April 27th. So get those last couple weeks in of riding. But yeah, Copper, love to see that May 11th date. That's for Copper, Loveland, and Breckenridge. And then I'm sure you'll see A Basin probably into June. That's pretty typical over there. That's where we're riding.
What a great base this year. We got tons of snow. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. They I think it was an above average year all around. I think I saw a report that said that. So, this is pretty common though. I think I've seen late April, early May dates for most mountains for the past few years, and then your A Basin typically into June, and I think 2 years ago A Basin even was in July as well. So they're always open, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Cool. All right. Well, we got a couple of weeks left to get it in before it's Red Rock season.
Oh, it's already Red Rock season.
It's already Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we do events, and we might have a guest popping in here in about 10 minutes, I got a couple of news things. So first thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a commissioned painting of President Trump that was put up in the Colorado State Legislature that he personally asked to be removed. Did you guys see this?
No.
I just love how petty the president is. You know what I mean? Like, he's keeping tabs on his portraits. So apparently Colorado Republicans raised $10,000 through a GoFundMe to finance and commission an oil painting of President Trump. Well, he doesn't like it. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I mean, I look at it
far off.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like it?
It's a little less orange. He's a little less orange in the painting.
And I feel like they nailed his hair.
But it looks it's pretty close.
It's pretty darn good. I mean, if I was the artist, I would be like, "Oh, come on, man." I mean, how did I miss? So
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, if you scroll down and look at the one right next to Barack Obama's looks a little more like realistic.
Does you think it has like a cartoon? It kind of has a cartoon. I mean, if I was get real picky,
they gave him like no chin or neck. Yeah. Maybe that's why.
That could be it, but man, I don't know. If you look at it next to like his official portrait, which is very ominous, his like official portrait for this new term, he's got like a very stern, almost like I don't know, just like a intimidating posture. So maybe he's just like that. But I mean, what a hilarious thing to like see it and be like, I want you to take that down. And we know that, Trump, it's always a game. And he saw, Colorado goes blue, so he's gonna have to protest everything. But I was just like, that's pretty good painting,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many people are gonna see it? Now more people are gonna see it that he did that. Now it's all published online.
So. I bet that its value just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
As a result.
Totally. Absolutely. It's a controversial piece of artwork now. It's entered the lexicon. Nice.
Bringing the hammer down.
Yeah, that's right. Can't be having these unauthorized portraits. All right. So there's some more proposals on the 16th Street Mall. So this saga has been going on for some time. The honest to God truth is that like people don't shop in outdoor malls anymore. That's just not what they like to do. But Denver's been trying to figure out ways to revitalize 16th Street Mall by doing absolutely everything they possibly can, except, remove the crime and vagrancy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you could really start there and make a lot of those businesses happy, because the problem is, like, so many businesses moved out just because they weren't enforcing the laws, and you had, shirtless maniacs running around with 2x4s clubbing potential customers, and the cost of doing business was too high, so they moved out. So they're trying to figure it out. It has the kind of pedestrian walkway, and it's got the buses. They're trying to figure out what they can do to move new people in. So they're proposing to do gondolas. So I don't know if it replaces the buses, or if, the gondolas are above them. I mean, the renderings, I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks kind of cool, but also seems like a potential nightmare. Like getting stuck in the gondola in the middle of 16th Street Mall.
Yeah. And I mean, one of these renderings is just straight up not Denver.
Definitely not Denver.
Yeah, what's going on in that one? That looks like maybe New York City Central
What
Park.
city is that?
It's
That
I think it's just imaginary city.
that's GPT City.
Yeah. Man. Okay. Well, I mean, it could be a cool thing for sure, but is it really? I mean, it's not that far of a friggin'
Yeah,
walk. And also,
it's like a mile.
yeah, it's like a mile. And what is it going to do? Just take you to the other end? Like, it's not going to be stopping every few feet. Like, I don't see the benefit of the idea.
This also kind of taps into, like, one criticism I have, generally speaking, with Denver is when they just want to tie everything to the ski industry. It's like everything has to be skiing. And, like, Denver, I feel like it's part of the culture for sure, but, like, it has a unique identity in itself. It doesn't all have to be about skiing and that's it. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at all the franchises from Colorado Rockies, and you got the Colorado Mammoth, and you got the Colorado Rapids, and you got the Colorado Avalanche. It's like, we get it, mountains, okay. It's like 16th Street Mall. We have buses. Maybe you could do a trolley. Well, that'd be cool, but no, it has to be a gondola, because, get it, punchline, skiing. It's
Hmm.
a skiing destination, you know?
All about the skiing.
I don't know. I don't know. And does that make it more attractive? Because I guess what was cool with the buses is, if you didn't want to walk the 6 blocks, you could just pop on, pop off, But, like, if now am I committed to this gondola, they're just going to be empty, I think. Or, worse, they're going to be used as, like,
Crack
temporary
dens.
shelters.
Yeah.
Squatters.
You want a safe place to do clandestine transactions? Seems like that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. I don't know if I really support this proposal, if I'm being honest here.
Yeah, I don't know what could be done with 16th Street Mall to make it more appealing. What if they just pulled the streets entirely and did like a green belt, and just say, like, it's only scooters and bikes, do single track. I don't know. Like, what would work down there?
Three loop gondola transportation system. So I think they're not thinking about just the 16th Street Mall. Maybe this is going to Ball Arena and then into the new city development, something like that. But if it was just the mall, it wouldn't make sense. So
Yeah, I agree. What are we going to do with the 16th Street Mall? They're going to do something. And, maybe you fill it full of the chain stores, and just allow it to be, another resort town, and just let it ride there. So at least the folks downtown can find a spot to get their concept restaurant going.
yeah, I mean, they really do just need to start by not allowing people to openly smoke crack and do drugs on the street. Like, that is going to be the first step, I think, to any of these solutions working. So maybe start there.
Yeah, totally. On that note, too, is not very uplifting news, but it comes out that the the homeless cleanups is missing a lot of cash. And we're talking about millions in spending on homeless encampment cleanups. A new city audit finds they don't know where the cash went.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, I mean, this is, I think, probably kind of a microcosm of the whole thing that's happening with Doge. Is people are kind of pulling the lid back a little bit and being like, dude, it seems like there's a lot of waste, you and it seems like if you're being generous, it's waste and just like incompetency, but there's got to be some percentage of like shenanigans in there. Not that I'm accusing anybody, definitely not Mike Johnston, but I think it's interesting he's bringing it to light and at least sharing some of this information because it's millions of dollars, and it's kind of a frustrating thing when the city has a pretty limited budget, especially when they're trying to pass around the hat to the taxpayers. When it's like, dude, you guys can't even like balance your own P&L. How is that possible?
I'm sure $10 million has disappeared as they cleaned out like 100-person encampment, and they could have just given each person 100 grand, but no one knows where $10 million went.
Isn't that just that's such a good point? Like a lot of times the solution might be like, why don't you just give them the cash and let them figure it out? Like all the programs and everything that doesn't seem to work. Yeah, you could just take that 10 million and like put it in envelopes and be like, here you go. You could lose this probably not as good as we could.
It
So
sounds like that's the case.
Does Colorado have the sales quarter cent sales tax also
oh
on
no,
the?
Denver I think is like 2 or 3% Denver consumer tax, I think.
Oh, really?
It's pretty high.
For
Yeah.
the homeless um support or reduce homelessness?
I'm not sure what
I
it's
don't
kind of
know if that's what it's used
earmarked for. Yeah.
specifically.
We have, I know LA they have like the quarter cent sales tax. So a quarter of a penny, you know, goes to it. It's like 300 something million a year in revenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, so here's what they found. They said no clear system exists to track cleanup costs, monitor contracts, or verify services are delivered. So they don't even know if it was done. Property storage, which holds belongings seized from encampments, lacks oversight. Daily coordination meetings about actions aren't documented.
Hmm.
So, I suppose it
They
could be tightened up, but it's like, dude, that means you're losing millions of dollars. Wow, man.
they need Fathom over there, those meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
If
know. I mean, it's all corruption because it is not easy to lose that much money. Like, you don't just accidentally lose all of that money. There's just
Really,
no possible way.
I
You
know.
just have
Well,
no accounting teams, no nothing. Like, it's just not. It doesn't make any sense.
and no reporting. They don't even have a way to like see if it's been done or not. I mean, I suppose except for just your eyes, but I mean, what? I mean, hey, again, I'm no city planner, but like, it's like, okay, if we're moving housing encampments, that's just you put 20 boots on the ground and you're like, okay, go clean it up. That's your job. That's pretty easy to document.
Hmm.
And you're like, oh yeah, and then there's several $1 million that we don't know what happened to that. Like,
Yeah.
well, how much was the total?
Yeah, it doesn't cost millions of dollars to send 20 people out and tell people to go.
Right.
And then, you got your cleanup crews and stuff with the waste management and everything, but it is not that expensive. There's no chance.
I'm saying, and I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's like, why don't let's take that audit a step further and go find out where the cash is because that's kind of crazy.
If they are getting paid that much, we're all in the wrong industry because I will go down and clean up like for, $300 an hour. It's what it sounds like they're paying people.
Yeah, that might be a little skinny. I don't know. 300 an hour for encampment cleanup. I might tap out after an hour. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I probably see some stuff down there, but
There's a number though. There's a number though that'd be like very happy to do that.
Hmm.
Nice. All right, let's do events. Tom, what do you got?
For sure. Let me hop into events. I'll start off with our favorite Denver Ramen Festival. Let's kick it off with a giveaway from last week. How about that? This is for our VIP ticket giveaway from Lacey. We have a huge wheel of names of new newsletter subscribers, and let's just spin it. I think we got 95 entries here.
Yeah, what a smashing success. I mean, people have been coming through just daily, dozens and dozens and dozens. So shout out to podcast listeners and signing up for the newsletter. I think we got about 6,000 people on the newsletter now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to raquel.jane@gmail.com.
Shout out to Raquel.
Sounds legit. raquel.jane@gmail.com. If you are listening into the show, you are the proud recipient of 2 VIP tickets to the Denver Ramen Festival. We're super excited. I'm going to be there, and I have just received my guest judging assignment. I will be... Sorry, let me just pull this up. I don't want to make any mistakes here. This is really serious stuff. I will be judging the best fusion ramen category.
Nice.
So
that's like carnitas ramen, like that type thing.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be looking at these different ramens that incorporate different types of cuisine outside of the traditional Japanese ramen. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous that I'm not judging most authentic ramen. But I'm
That's
still
what I was
going
to say. I know you're a traditionalist. Do you feel comfortable with this genre?
I'm comfortable because you know what? I think I'm going to be pretty stern. If you're making a fusion ramen, you better be doing something right, because I don't want you to disgrace this Japanese culture and heritage by messing up their cuisine. So I'm going to take it seriously. Yeah, you better not disgrace your family name by messing up your fusion ramen dish.
Family name.
That's what
I'm trying to think. So like the fusions that I've had is definitely Mexican fusion for sure.
I've seen those ones for sure. I think I saw that Bombitas, our friends over at Bombitas, is going to be there. So I mean, they have kind of like a soup or birria type of ramen product, but it's not really ramen. I'm sure they're going to use their Bombitas product to create a ramen with their birria and consomme combination.
I'm wondering what other like fusions. I don't know. I haven't seen. Like I've definitely done the carnitas, which is like cilantro, onion, like that style of ramen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I know is that ramen has 3 distinct requirements, and that is broth, noodles, and toppings. So if you can add those 3 things, you've got a ramen there, and no matter what else you put in, if you're combining elements of another cuisine or culture, I think that is what is going to classify as a fusion ramen. So
interesting. It seems like it's a delicate balance, because to your point, like you could throw a taco in there, but like now is that fusion, or did you just put a taco inside this ramen bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, I looked up some fusions, and there's some pretty interesting ones here, like Italian ramen, so tomato basil ramen, marinara inspired broth.
Dude, that's spaghetti.
Wow. Yeah, that's watered down spaghetti.
Yeah. There's a American comfort ramen, like BBQ smoked brisket ramen with like corn and spicy broth. Indian ramen, like a tikka masala ramen. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think there's going to be no shortage of of options for me to go through here. Other categories that are being guest judged include the Ramen Master Award, Best Fusion Ramen, which I'll be tackling, Most Authentic Ramen, and then Best Ramen Presentation. So I think that judge is just looking at the visuals there. I do like that too. I think I could be good at that.
I think you could, but I think they got the right guy in the right seat because you're bringing the traditional sensibility.
Yeah,
and you're open-minded, but you realize that, hey, I know ramen when I see it, so we're gonna have to see a lot, in order to make that judgment.
Yeah, I think I'm proud of the assignment here. Most authentic ramen obviously is everyone wants to do that, but it's not like I'm not going to be trying those ones. Best fusion ramen is a pretty big assignment here. I think that I'm going to have to really take some time and thoroughly examine each of these cuisine combinations. And
I'd love to see those are some great categories. I'd love to see like a best spicy ramen category, because it's like,
yeah,
you can have ramen that's spicy to the point where it's like too spicy, where it's not really like edible or enjoyable. And you can also have ramen that's like underwhelmingly spicy. So it's like getting the right amount of spice is definitely
absolutely
an award-worthy category, in my opinion.
I think I'll be judging that on the side as well, not officially.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to be there April 5th. I will be doing session 1 from noon to 4 p.m. Session 2 is from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. And Best Fusion Ramen, I'm going to be judging that thoroughly and wholeheartedly. So thank you to Lacey, who was our guest last week, and Drink Denver team. We're super excited. And last chance this week for your 2 free tickets. Just go ahead and comment, tagging one of your friends that you would like to bring to the Denver Ramen Festival, and we will get you out there if you are selected as the winner on next week's show. So there it is. Denver Ramen Festival.
Still chance to win. Yeah, super stoked for them. This has been a really fun promotion. And the engagement has just been through the roof. I mean, I think that one thing we've definitely learned, and we've known it for 12 months now, is that the appetite for ramen in Denver is extraordinary.
Exactly. I'm excited to see what kind of engagement we get for the Denver Brunch Fest.
Yeah.
I bet all of the influencers, Instagram, TikTok, are going to be tagging and commenting left and right to get out to that brunch festival for all you can drink and eat of the top Denver brunch locations. That's going to be out in the summertime, though, so we still got a few different events between now and then. But hey, this is our next one. We're super excited. What else do I got here? I got a couple other small things going on. This weekend, Friday at Real Works, which is a great venue if anyone hasn't been there yet. March 28th, we have Noizu with CJ and Chris Aries as support. The Noizu Dancing in the Dark tour. You're in there for $30.
Nice.
Real Works is super cool. It's over there. It's the same warehouse location as Tracks, which is the rollerblading venue where you can go dance, rollerblade, all of that. But Real Works is their more like nightclub themed setup. So check that out. Also, another thing that I believe I will be hitting up this weekend. I'm actually super excited to finally check this out. But we have Colorado Rapids versus the Charlotte FC on Saturday, March 29th. This is an afternoon game, 2:30 p.m. You're in there for $30 as well. All different types of seats available. You can get in the supporters section for $30 right behind the goal. What else we got? The patio. I think that's like the standing room area. I actually haven't been to a game here, so I don't know how they're setting this stuff up. Field level seating, $181. It's not that bad, If if you're really feeling it, 130 actually, you could get field level. Got some lodges available, some sweet access. But yeah,
Nice. Did
Colorado
you see the
Rapids.
renderings? The renderings of the new field they want to build for the women's professional soccer.
I think I did see that. Yes.
It looks cool, man. They're building it right at like I think like what is it like Santa Fe and I-25, that big old ball flats. They're gonna put a pretty
Oh,
a
that's
really
where it's gonna
beautiful.
be. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, right there.
yeah. Back when we used to work down there, I just noticed them starting to like really level that out, and every time I pass by, they're doing something there. So that's a huge,
Nice.
huge space. Makes sense for a big stadium there, but I hope they put ample parking around because, man, there's nowhere to park down there if they don't.
Totally.
Um, and then last but not least, it is time for your weekly Red Rocks schedule. Returning, we're back with Enzo starting on Friday, March 28th. Support from Dirt Monkey, Super Task, Eater, Bluka, and Liza Patique. So that's bass. And then on Saturday night, of course, you got more bass. Boogie T headlining with Dr. Fresh, Boogie Trio, Trip Street, 5 a.m. Trio, and Zoska. So bass. Bass weekend to open up Red Rocks. I expect nothing less. That's coming to you Friday and Saturday nights. I think tickets available for both of those still as well. So yeah, there you go.
Amazing, dude. Red Rocks is absolutely jam packed all the way through April. Incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, this week we only have Friday and Saturday. Next week we're getting Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday schedule until the week of April 15th. And then we're switching over to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Unbelievable.
Pretty much for every week after that.
So cool. Leon Bridges is coming up. The Black Keys are coming up. Michael Franti's coming up. Thievery Corporation. And that's just coming into the beginning of June. Not to mention stacked with bass.
Yeah, so much
Amazing.
bass here and there. Let me just scroll through a couple cool ones. Disco Lines, I'll be heading that one. Not this weekend, but next weekend. You have Remy Wolf. Who else we got? Boris Brejcha. I always mess up that name. Who else? Sublime, Wiz Khalifa, Subtronics. Always a big one there. Comedy from Amy Schumer and Friends. Interesting. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler comedy show. We got Matt Rife coming through. Just to name a few. I mean, it's jam packed up until
It's
next
jam
winter.
packed.
So
As we're
Stacked.
getting into stacked, I always have like FOMO looking at this because it's like, man, there's so many good shows. And if I think about the last season, the show that I really wish I went to?
which one?
Shaq Diesel.
Oh yeah, DJ Diesel.
DJ Diesel, dude. That guy, man, the more I think about it, the more I think Shaquille O'Neal might be my favorite entrepreneur of all time. That dude just everything he touches is gold and only does what he wants and just has the coolest gigs ever. Like he's not doing March Madness because he's like, I don't really care about college basketball. So he's just got all that time off. He'll come back and do, Shaq and Chuck stuff for the NBA. But then so he's got that gig going during the week. And then during the weekends, he's like, cool, I'm also going to tour and sell out shows as a DJ. I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's so funny. He'll do the what's the name of the show with Chuck and is it Inside the NBA or is it
I,
what's the
I
name of
think
it?
that's it. Yeah.
So he'll do that on like Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday he's DJing some festival dropping like
Yeah.
heavy dubstep. It's just so funny his life.
It is actually insane.
Yeah. I think he was like a police officer for a while. I mean, what does Shaq not do? It's just, and then I saw him on TikTok. He got a couple of these custom cars. He's just always chilling. Guy's amazing, man. For moving very slow, he gets everything done.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
Nice.
to be
True.
All
nearing
right.
full completion of his game, of the side quests.
Of the side quest, totally. Nice. I got a couple of events here. I'm going to go chronologically because I was aided in with GPT in organizing the links this week. So I'll just go chronologically here.
Nice.
So I'm not going to talk about Monday because that was yesterday. So we'll skip that. But we talked about it last week, and it was very popular on the newsletter, which is the Red Chair Bookshop used book sale from the Denver Public Library downtown. So it's CDs, DVDs, and used books. So it's got to be the city's biggest used bookstore as a pop up, and that's going on all day today, and I think through the week. We got the Avs playing the Red Wings in town tonight. Tomorrow we got the Women of Jewelry, a global representation of 100 women's stories. So celebrate Women's History Month through stories of jewelry designers. And I feel like that is very appropriate. There's three phases I know all American women will go through at some point, and that's photography, serial killers, and jewelry. You know, this is
Hmm.
the common thread that unites all American women. So this should be really cool, you know. And there's nothing I really like handcrafted jewelry pieces. I think that's just like you always get like
Yeah.
super talented folks that are doing it. So to see kind of a autobiographical take, I think would be really cool.
Sweet.
What are the phases American men go through?
Um, Maybe you got like a beard phase. You got
Playing guitar.
that could definitely be one for sure. Um, hmm.
Craft brewing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, craft brewery phase. That's good.
Maybe like carpentry,
Oh,
Yeah,
totally. That's
like
usually later in life.
trying to build. Like I'm not gonna go buy this cabinet. I'm just gonna build one.
I'm gonna build it
Oh,
myself.
totally. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hell yeah.
The garage woodworking station, that, you know, I think once you turn about 35, that itch just starts getting really loud. You're like, I could I could build this table.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's already hitting. That's hitting me a little early onset.
Early onset
Early
carpentry.
onset
Yeah,
woodworking
the early
phase.
onset carpentry phase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens. It happens for sure. I took to the Home Depot tool rental station last week and got a hammer drill to drill into a concrete ceiling and hang a projector. I'm not paying anyone on TaskRabbit to do that. It's not.
No,
It's just I got to keep my manhood in check here.
yeah. Who needs to hire someone for $80 to come mount a projector when you got a toolbox?
Yeah, exactly.
What was the tool? Was it the was it a pneumatic drill or
It's a hammer drill. To it's much better for drilling into like concrete specifically. So I tried to start off with the normal drill gun, and I got through one out of four holes, and man, it was just absolutely impossible, essentially, to just get any further. And then I was like, you know what? I know that you're supposed to use a hammer drill for this. I went down to Home Depot. My guy, I think it was Dante over there. He hooked me up, and it literally took less than like 2 minutes to drill all the rest of the holes. And for reference, with the non-hammer drill, it took me like an hour to drill like 1 1/3 of a hole, and then with the hammer drill, it only took mere minutes. So it was solid.
nice,
Did you,
man?
did you get a hot dog while you're there?
There was no hot dogs at this Home Depot.
What?
We should add this to the map.
Yeah.
We need to get the website, the map going.
Yeah, Home Depot
A hot dog
map.
shame. That Home
Mhm.
Depot.
This was the one up off of I-70 on
You could
Quebec Street. No dogs.
You could code that website in like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Just Google Maps integration
And then like
and a
Reddit
checkbox.
source,
Yeah.
yeah, Reddit source some like on-site people confirming.
Oh yeah.
And you
I
just
mean, any metropolitan area, you got competing Home Depots within 10 miles of each other.
Hmm.
I'm I'm taking the extra trip to get the hot dog for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, just HomeDepotHotDog.com. Identify which Home Depots have hot dogs in the United States. It'd be the best website that could ever exist.
Yeah. Then
It's right.
the only features you need are a checkbox for people to submit either has hot dog or does not have hot dog. They could submit reviews with your comments with photos, and then what you got to do for all of the no hot dog locations is have like a petition list where people can show their
Mm,
intent or their desire for hot dogs to be added at this location.
hmm.
To promote it, you got to go full Home Depot hot dog festival and
Mm-hmm.
get
Mm,
all of the different hot dog vendors from the region to compete.
Yeah.
mm.
Main sponsor, Home Depot. I mean, I think that's ripe for an acquisition from Big Depot.
Yeah, Big Depot. Totally. Big Depot's got them deep pockets.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, if you go listen to that Costco podcast, I was telling Ryan about this, but the Acquired podcast, specifically, good episode to start with is the Costco episode to get a feel for the show. But everyone loves Costco, and I mean, people don't know, but like Costco is the reason behind Home Depot, even, and so many
Is that
other
right?
stores. Yeah, because Costco came up with the warehousing model where essentially all the items are just placed into a giant warehouse and sold directly from right there.
Yeah.
And someone from original Costco, aka Price Club, ultimately went on to leave and then start Home Depot. And
No kidding.
Wow.
same thing for Sam's Club and for all of these other warehouse type locations. It all started from Price Club / Costco, and then even before that, I think it was called Fedco.
That's
You gotta
incredible.
go listen to the podcast. It's actually amazing.
Yeah. I love that podcast too. I started one the other day. They're like 4 hours long. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, the Costco one's over 3 hours long.
yeah, it's such an incredible show. I'm like, wow, you guys really go above and beyond. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know, that hammer drill was making me think of like my favorite tool ever. I don't even think you use it anymore, but when I was a kid, my dad was standing up some like a wall in the basement, so you have to like go into the concrete. Dude, it was like a giant 3-inch nail with like a 22 shell on the backside. You ever seen those?
mm-hmm.
And you hit it, and it's like explodes like
And
a gun.
shoots the nail in.
Yeah, shoots the nail into the concrete. It was like the coolest thing I ever
I
seen.
haven't seen those in a while. I'm not sure if I've ever actually seen them. I wonder if they
It
still
sounds
got them.
dangerous.
Yeah,
I mean,
insane.
Dang.
Yeah, I don't think they do those anymore. Maybe. I mean, you probably get that at Home Depot, but you might have to have a driver's license with you or something.
hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. All right. I got a couple of more things before we get out of here. Okay, the Mercury Cafe farewell party is on Thursday. Much love to them. And then on Friday, there is a Colorado AI Literacy Summit, which is a virtual event exploring AI in K through 12 education, which I think
Wow.
is really cool. You know, the knee-jerk reaction for schools is always to stop technology advancing, but I think the teachers are learning that like they're going to really love these AI tools too. So it'll be interesting to see how kids learn, with now they can just, prompt everything into existence. Um, my bet is it's going back to penmanship and maybe cursive makes a comeback. I don't know, but you can check that out.
Nice.
Friday, we've got American All West Native American Basketball Classic, which is great. And the Nuggets are playing the Jazz. And then Saturday, we've got the Pioneers men's lacrosse is playing Villanova. Rapids are playing. Avalanche is playing. All the sports. Let's wrap with um, highlights from last week. Troy, what was the highlight for you last week?
I think my highlight from last week was the same as the week before. Just been taking weekends to just get some solid R&R, hit the farmers market, make some delicious meals. I went to the farmers market, got a bunch of meats, cheeses. They have like this French bakery pop up. Got a baguette, and it was phenomenal. Had some, meats, cheeses, baguette, some nuts, fresh romaine. Made a Caesar salad. It was just really living like a king this last weekend, honestly. So, been nice.
Oh man, dude, carpentry is coming for you, dude. You
It's on
got
the
this.
horizon.
you got
Mhm.
you got the farmers market and the French bread going. It's gonna be lawn
Mm,
care and building cabinets here in no time.
I'll have an espresso machine soon and be into making some really good craft coffees too.
That's great.
What about you, Tom?
I know we already mentioned DPL on today's episode, but I'm gonna show my highlight right here. I let you guys know I was going to grab this baby, this
Yeah.
Denver
Nice.
Public Library card,
Look at
and
that thing.
I just gotta say, great benefits. Okay, you have access to that app called Libby, which I think people know about this, but essentially digital books, audio books. You can just download this app, and as soon as you have the card, you can rent pretty much any book you want in a digital or audio copy. And a lot of times there's waits for them, especially your more popular books. But another huge benefit that I was just absolutely mind blown. And I don't know if this is every single Denver Public Library location, but at least the location that I was at the other day, the Blair Caldwell location. And if it's everyone, this is crazy, but 100 pages of free printing per day if you are a Denver library holder or Denver library card holder. And
Whoa.
that's color or black and white. You can print up to 100 free pages per day with your card.
Wow,
Isn't that crazy?
dude, that could get really expensive quick.
I mean, maybe they're not going to be happy that I'm saying this, but I was mind blown. I just went to go print a couple, funny posters for our friend's birthday party. And yeah, 100 per day, no questions asked. You go sign in with your little account, or even they have a nice system where you could mail your PDF or email your PDF to a certain email address, and then the printer receives it. You just say how many copies you want, and speedy, high quality printing for free. 100 pages per day. I don't think anyone needs more than that. If you are, you're really taking advantage of the system, but that's insane in my mind. If you went to go print 100 pages at like Staples or like Office Depot or whatever. Oh, that's another Costco one, Office Depot. You're paying like 10 plus cents per page, I'm pretty sure.
I think color's even more, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe like 13 or 14 cents.
Yeah.
That card, just when you flashed it just now, it has like an aura about it.
Dude,
And it looks like it
yeah.
has some weight.
It
Like
is.
it looks kind of heavy.
It does.
Like you
It's-
show that thing some places,
thing's-
you're gonna get
That's high quality.
you're gonna be like you're gonna get some special treatment if you show that thing
Yeah.
around places.
They had many options to choose from too. You could pick whatever kind of library card you want. But shout out to the Denver Public Library. That last benefit, and I mean, I actually have the entire pamphlet right here. Checking out
Wow.
materials. You could place holds on whichever materials you would like.
Keep that thing safe. Somewhere safe.
3-week loans on books, ebooks, audiobooks, DVDs, Blu-rays, and all youth labeled materials. 1-week loans on music CDs, magazines, and DVDs or Blu-rays 4 hours or shorter. Okay. Obviously, the access to the Libby platform, super, super awesome with that. Printing, you have free newsletters. You have volunteering opportunities. I mean, it's endless here.
It's
And
amazing.
the amount of locations is actually wild. So I told everyone I would report back with my findings. So far, all very positive from the DPL system.
Nice, man. I have a library to recommend. There's one, I think it's the Deckers branch. It's on like Iliff in Logan, somewhere thereabouts. But it's just a little tiny little public library, but it looks like a hobbit house or something. It's super charming. Great place to chill and work.
Oh yeah, Denver Public
Shout.
Library Decker branch over on Platt Park. It looks like
Yeah, that's it. Right on Logan. Yeah, it's super cute. It's great.
nice. Yeah, that building is really cool looking. Have to check that one out next.
Cool. My highlight for the week, I missed to speaking about it, which is shocking, but it was Denver March Powwow this weekend. And so, that's just an annual tradition for the Estes household. So we went down there. And I tell you what, I mean, as a white boy from Denver, I was welcomed as a kid to do ceremonies on the res in South Dakota. And I'd just been absolutely enamored by the beauty of indigenous culture in North America. And for folks that haven't been, Denver March Powwow, I believe, is the largest powwow in North America because of our geographical centricity in the middle of the continent. So you get dancers from absolutely everywhere in drum teams. And, that style of singing to me is like almost my favorite. And the drum groups this year were something else. It seemed like there was like twice the number. Like some of these drum teams had like 20 singers. The floor was absolutely packed, and it was just such great energy. Most of the dancers, especially the competitive ones, are kids, so like Gen Z. So I got somehow my TikTok algorithm got all loaded up with March Powwow. So you see them all behind the scenes doing like little skits and stuff around the arena. It was absolutely extraordinary. So that was really cool. I also kind of like made kind of a personal pact to myself to support some of these indigenous brands. There's a couple of great ones that are doing like streetwear. There's one, the Natives. That's great. They always have booths there. And there's another one called Hustle Tribe. And I buy all their stuff all the time, but I was like kind of saving my pennies up to go get a massive merch drop at March Powwow, which I did, except Hustle Tribe, dude, they had this super sick, it was like a tan two-piece kind of tracksuit that had like, it's like has that fabric like a towel, almost like a soft towel, so that's the look. And I was so stoked. I was going to pull the trigger. They're like, this is on the first day, mind you, this is like Friday night. They just showed up and they're like, well, we only got 3X, 4X, or 5X, 5XL. I'm like, dude,
Whoa.
5XL, god dang.
Yeah.
Like, how many of those do you have? He's like, oh, we got like six pairs of the 5XL. I'm like, dude, man, come on. So I talked to them. They're gonna hook me up with the powwow price if I order online, so I can get my regular XL. But I tell you what, man, I've been working on some diet and exercise since the beginning of the year. I felt pretty good just being out here with one XL.
Mm-hmm.
Not a 3XL. So shout out to
Hell
those
yeah.
guys though. Hustle Tribe making some super sick stuff, and the Natives, of course, their stuff is really cool. Was able to get some earrings for my daughter and my wife. Kind of just made it rain at the powwow, but it felt good, you
Of
know?
course.
Nice.
Gotta sometimes.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to.
yeah.
5X, that's crazy. 5XL.
5XL. I never even heard of that.
Yeah, neither have I.
Wow.
Man, I should have maybe I should have got it and just walk around with that and be like, yeah, I lost 300 pounds. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane.
just get compliments. Wow, it's really hanging off of you.
Yeah.
But shout out to March Powwow. I saw my buddy Tony Roybal. I being a Denver guy, I don't see a lot of old people from back in the day, but known Tony, and we played football together in high school. I've known him since middle school. So shout out to Tony. I ran into him. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it for me, guys.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
Cool. Well, we will let it ride with that. Listeners, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the participation in these giveaways. Has been absolutely extraordinary. The TikTok has been blowing up with, like, I don't know, all in it's probably what, 55,000 views, something like that on TikTok. 100
Mm-hmm.
new subscribers on the newsletter, which is phenomenal. Welcome to all those folks. And we'll keep it going. If anybody out there has an event or a promotion or something they want to get in front of our listeners, all in probably 7,000 strong, unless we happen to pop on TikTok and then it gets much larger. We're here for you guys. We want to celebrate Denver culture and events. So definitely hit us up at realgooddenver.com. And we're happy to spread the word. That's a
Yes, sir.
wrap.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Troy.
All right.
See ya. Thank you.
Talk soon.